Yeah, I want to go over this concept of inflation and deflation because if you actually look back at historically, pretty much the rule is what precedes inflation or extremely high hyperinflation or hard inflation is deflation. Deflation first. It's not like even a guess or something like that. That's pretty much what always happens. Germany's a good example in the 1920s during the Weimar Republic. They actually had the price of silver and gold go down for a period of time, and then it went through the roof. But the price wasn't going up. It was the currency was being destroyed itself. But what we got right now, actually, if you look, you see, this is one of my beefs with the silver. Some of the people I pushing out about silver, the way they pushed it out. I think silver and gold are going to go way up because of destruction of the currencies, not because of a mining shortage or some kind of fundamental need for silver that it has to be that high and it's going to go to 16-to-1 ratio with gold and stay there. I think it could because of a panic, but that's what it is. It's going to be a psychological panic, and that's really what it is with almost all the markets all the time, panic. But before hyperinflation is a period of deflation. Now, it's just that this correction period, deflation period, has been going on longer than I expected. But when hyperinflation hits after this, it's not going to be a matter of cash. It's going to be a matter of food, energy, and silver and gold. And QE has affected the price of silver. Actually, when they announced QE 1 and 2, it created the bubble in the commodities. But then that got deflated partly because of all the margin rate increases they did was one. But if the silver people and the gold people kept their mouths shut and weren't like attacking the Federal Reserve per se, they wouldn't have attacked back. That I know. That's why these people, Ron Paul, sometimes I wonder if they're really that stupid or what, I think people wouldn't follow that too much, but sometimes I doubt, like, even if alternative people we have are not that stupid. We're just being led around the nose as focused opposition. But just, I don't really, I'm telling you what I'm doing. I'm sticking with the silver and gold. I'm not trying to save the middle class. Actually, if the middle class all decided to buy it right now, the price would go way the hell up, and I'd probably sell it to them, and I'd take fiat dollars. That's what I would do. Just like somebody with Sprott would do, right? I'd do the same thing. But I realize that the currency is going to get destroyed. You see, they can't really back off QE. It's like, that's quite obvious, because as soon as he even talked about a possibility of backing off QE predicated upon the markets, the economy looking better, then he would probably start backing off in late 2013 or early 2014. And just upon that, the markets tanked. So all the markets are really being held up is by QE. As a matter of fact, the underlying economy must be horrible because of look at the price of copper. Don't necessarily look at the price of gold. Look at the price of copper. Copper is really a major judge as to what is going on in the economy. The economy stinks everywhere. And see, this is where the hyperinflation comes into being. The central banks do not want hyperinflation. They want to stimulate the economy and do it in pieces. And they don't want to hit the gas really hard. See, that's what Ben Bernanke's doing. He's trying to hit the gas just enough to keep things rolling. His concerns really aren't the metals. His concerns are really more the equities and some of the other numbers in the economy. But as he hits the gas, this is typically what happens. He hits the gas on a QE, and then they overcompensate. And then it also, like when he's doing QE, it's not directly going into the economy. It's going into the banks themselves, the big banks, the ones that are hooked in with the Federal Reserve, It's going in with them, and they're buying up troubled assets. But after a point of time, it's almost like they're building up, and in return, they're also holding, the banks, the Federal Reserve is buying troubled assets, but in return, the other banks are holding cash. But after a period of time, that cash is going to have a limit how much cash they can hold. What's going to happen? That cash is going to try to find another home someplace else. It's like building up behind the wall of a dam. And it's not like this is the first time this happens. This is what always freaking happens. So that money will come flooding out into the general economy, and it's going to cause prices to go way the hell up. See, the other thing I expect is that oil's going to go way up, and diesel fuel. And, like you say, like, in other words, you could say the mines were profitable 10 years ago when silver was $4 an ounce. But, gas was under a freaking dollar an ounce, maybe like in 98, 99 or something. It was like, dollar a gallon or $1.25 a gallon. See, that's a major difference there. I expect the actual fuel prices to go up to like $8, $10 or more dollars a gallon. So it's like, for them, in other words, if the fuel prices went up to doubled, and I think that's going to happen due to tensions in the Middle East at one point in time, the thing is, silver would be just as unprofitable at $40 at $8 a gallon as it is at $20 right now. So that's why it can easily go past 50, no problem, or 70 or 75, no problem. So this is my decision. And, it ain't going to save the middle class, because if the whole middle class just jumped into it, they would shoot the price way the hell up, and I'd probably sell it to them when I get something else if if it made that much money. See, I don't think the dollar's going to go to total oblivion, because there's another angle too, and it's not like the dollar could be backed by gold, but the dollar could possibly be backed. Maybe, I don't know how they would do this exactly, but just by making a decree or something that it's backed by all the oil and mineral rights that are in the United States. There's a hell of a lot of that, right? They could do that. Why not? I think what's actually going to drive up silver and gold is panic. So, and I know who's going to be the ones that are panicking, the middle class. So, I'm just waiting. I ain't worried about it. I think it's a smart investment. Now, if you want to decide, you think fiat cash, I think that's a freaking poor investment. But, the other thing is, though, with fiat cash, if you're really against the banksters and stuff like that, and you hate what Wall Street's doing, they're not paying you any interest anyway. I mean, you're really worth a shit. Why not just take your money out of the bank and sit on freaking paper cash then? Right? That would screw them up. You don't have to necessarily sit on silver. You could sit on a paper cash. You could do that. But I don't think that's going to be a smart play, to tell you the truth. No, not at all. Because the next QE that comes out for it to actually work on the economy and to get things rolling is going to have to be hitting the gas even harder than they have been before. And they're going to have assurances that they're not going to back off. You see, when he talked about backing off possibly next year or 6 months from now or more, it's like the market has to get a clear signal that QE is on, and it's on forever until things are actually fixed one way or the other. So if you don't want to listen to me, don't listen to me. Because, I ain't really here to help anybody, tell you the truth, man. I'm only here because I realize this is the right method, the right way to go. Middle class ain't going to be saved. No way in hell. No way in hell. Like I said, the only way the middle class can actually get behind something that would be good for everybody across the board and permanently be good, it wouldn't be silver. It would be industrial hemp, because it's a renewable product. It can replace, most of the gasoline. It could supplement the food supply. It doesn't require, as much. It doesn't require any pesticides or herbicides. So there's no problem with pollution or runoff. It can replace plastics. We put DuPont and nylon out of business and crap. It could be useful for our clothes, which would be 10 times more durable than cotton. But you know why hemp was made illegal? Because there was industries that just hated it. They hated the competition. And you know why it became illegal? I want to repeat this, because if you really want something that's going to save the middle class, it ain't freaking silver, it's hemp. because the whole world could practically get involved in this shit, and there'd be all these ancillary industries around them. The machinery that tills the soil and everything else like that, the irrigation systems and all that. And of course the sales and marketing. But like with hemp, though, like the reason it got illegal was that it was in 1937. They came up, I think it was 37. They came up with a method whereby they could take the hemp fiber, process the hemp fiber from the plant very efficiently. It was a new machine. It was like comparable to the Eli cotton gin of, decades before that made cotton king. Because before it was a labor-intensive process to, separate the cotton or something like that from the plant or whatever to process it. So they came up with this machine in 1937. That's when DuPont and Standard Oil and even Hearst with his paper mills, they saw hemp as a major threat and made up all these freaking BS things that hemp was marijuana and all these other weird stories to get everybody scared of it and make it illegal. But actually, hemp can actually be something that would be a very viable thing for the real economy, in a true sense, in a real sense, that would continue to go on and on and on. Because basically, from hemp, you got food, fuel, materials, like strong materials. You can make, it can be used partly for car bodies and it's super strong plastics, and no problem with, what do you call it? The pollution, because you're not digging up oil. You're growing a plant. It actually reverses greenhouse gases, the whole deal. So the entrenched racket is like that would save the middle class in a real way. But I think silver. I'm going to say this: people do what you want. I think silver is going way the hell up because Bernanke has got to hit the freaking gas hard now. And, when there's a no way out situation, when he hits the gas hard now, it's like the Fed's going to be buying up all the freaking treasuries. They're going to go into more debt. And, there's no way out of it situation. It's actually going to cause the dollar to go to oblivion. Well, not oblivion, but it's going to cause it to go down a lot. So, but the other game, I'm going to ad-lib a little more on here because I just want to explain something else. There's competition between different centers of the world because what the game is in the West is that they're trying to be the last man standing. So, the euro was trying to be the number one guy in the block for a while, and actually back in early 2008, it looked like the dollar was on its way out, and the euro was going to be. That's where the safety was, if you recall that. What happened to that deal? See, I don't think the dollar right now is so super safe. Seems that way, but it's always what it seems to be. It's the exact opposite, isn't it? But it's going to be the last man standing is where all the capital is going to flow to. So there's competition between China is one center, Europe's another center, United States is another center, maybe Russia too. I don't know. Maybe even Russia with all their commodity power and oil producing power. So if you can knock the other ones down, the last man standing has all the capital run to it for safety. That's partly what the United States Western elite are doing too. And it may turn out that way. But I don't think the dollar versus silver is going to... Well, like I said, silver is... I said this back when it was going up. I said it's a highly volatile investment. I said, that's why most people that are experienced have been in business for freaking 30-something years and they got millions of dollars avoid it like the plague because it's all over the place. But I'm pretty chill with it, so, I realize it's going to go way the hell up. So when it starts breaking 50, whenever, and if it never breaks 50, I'll still hold on to it. It's going to be like some shiny coins, I think it is. Because Ben Bernanke is going to have to hit the gas extremely hard now. And because he's got to restore the investor confidence that QE is not going to let up, that things are really fixed. Right now, we got absolute proof that the only thing holding up the markets is QE. So things aren't fixed yet. So what is he going to do? Back off of it? He can't. He can't possibly. And if he backs off of it, interest rates are going to go up, and the government's not going to be able to pay the interest rates. And guess what? End game right there. There's only one recourse. Lots of QE. And it will affect the price of metals. It will. So, but just beware, like, when it starts going up really high. Because I can imagine, say, for instance, if it was, like, up well over 50, and even say it went up over 50 in 6 months, and that's, like, a ridiculously good move. Say it did, right? Well, the silver people would be immediately telling you it's going to go to 1,000 or 100 in another 3 months after that, or some kind of crap. See, I ain't going to be buying that bullshit. And actually, looking back, where I wasn't been doing any trading lately, I've just been sitting pat. But just looking back at 2012, because I was starting to do my taxes and Schedule D and all that stuff. Oh, I made money. I made money, and actually made money in 2013 on trades too. So, but I wish I knew this shit was going to go down, because I would have shorted the hell out of it, but I didn't. So, but I don't think it's going to be much of a wait for it to turn around. So, do what the hell you want. I ain't out here to save the middle class. I just like commenting on this stuff. That's to tell you the truth. This was my whole forte, and I don't like most of the stuff that goes in on YouTube, because even the people that are supposedly professionals, I don't consider them professionals. So, if you want to listen to me, go ahead. If you don't, don't.